This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Responsibility of addressing oil spills and environmental disasters in the oil and gas industry rests solely on the companies involved. We cannot solve our environmental problems using the same thinking that created them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the clash points. Team Negative comes and says that the companies have come to make only profits. Now, what does that mean? This means that these people are financially stable. For example, look at Sinoch, an international organization which is one of the largest oil and gas companies in Uganda, energy sector, and owns third interests in each of the exploration areas. What does this mean? That these people are mandated. When they are mandated, that means that they have the expertise necessary for them to address these challenges, which means that you cannot shift that burden to the government. These people come and say that we are depending. Yes, as Uganda, we are a dependent country. Now, that's why we are saying instead of shifting the burden to the taxpayers, now, if we shift this burden to the government, yet the people that are solely responsible for it are capable and are financially stable and can be able to man up and solve the effects of these people are actually financially stable, which means that the taxpayers, that if we shift the responsibility to the government, we shall be shifting it to the taxpayers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, then they come and say that the oil is in our land. Yes. Now, the mere fact that the oil is in our land, and they come and when they come and exploit this oil, this is when we have the environmental disasters, which means that since they are organizations from outside, they should actually be responsible for what they cause to our land, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we also say that these companies have a moral and legal obligation to prevent such incidents and take immediate action to clean up and mitigate the damage caused, because they have the expertise, resources, and accountability makes them best suited to handle these situations effectively. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we also say that the problem in this resolution is we are addressing the problem of oil spills and environmental disasters, and a team that wins needs to show an effective work plan that solves the problem sustainably. Now, these people cannot come here and say that we are going to collaborate with the government. Now, we are saying solely. Solely means primarily they should be held accountable. They should hold primary accountability. Now, that means that as the government, we are not going to stop doing anything. We have said we are a supervisory body. The actions are going to be done by them, but as the government, we are supervising what they are doing, because as NEMA, we are a national supervisory body. Now, which means that the government is not being put out of this when it says solely. We mean that the primary responsibility is for the companies involved. Ladies and gentlemen, we also need to remind them that environmental disasters, rest and listen to people who know. We need to inform that the environmental disasters, they have a long-term effect on the communities involved. What does that mean? This means that these companies have to give compensation. Now, as the government, we cannot compensate for this. Examples of environmental disasters in the oil and gas sector, we have habitat protection and biodiversity, air emissions, marine and freshwater discharges, incidents of oil spills in soil and ground cause water contamination, which means that the companies involved, ladies and gentlemen, should be held responsible and should compensate the communities involved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they say that this is caused by mismanagement and sometimes by natural disasters. Yes, now they say that we are not solving the problem of natural disasters. Since the natural disasters are caused by neither the company nor the government, why should we have the government that is not benefiting from this be held responsible for that, yet the company that is actually gaining a lot of profits can be able to stand up for what they have done? Ladies and gentlemen, they also brought in a point of neo-colonialism. Now, this brings a question. Are they saying that these companies should stop working in the oil and gas sector of Uganda, that we should chase them out? Because I do not see the solution they are bringing to the table, ladies and gentlemen. Then, ladies and gentlemen, they have asked that, what are we leaving the company for? Ladies and gentlemen, this company is benefiting. It's getting all the profits that they get from the oil, which means that they are financially stable and can be able to be held responsible for what they have done. With this, I rest my case.
My name is Tehri Mirza, student of Kyambogo College, representing the negative team. The motion is already given, so let me start direct with the points. First of all, I would like to have a question for the team affirmatives. What will they do if these companies fail to compensate for the oil spills or any disasters done by them? What will they do? That's the first question I feel they should answer. Second, they come and tell us, and first of all, they refuse to define soil, and soil is one of the biggest key terms in this definition, in this motion, which was their part of debate. the way they're supposed to define soul is the way the debate was supposed to go. But since they failed to define it, we'll take our definition. And then we come and tell them that soul means the private companies will only be responsible. So I don't know why as the affirmative team, they again bring the hand of government in it. Why do they do that? They should learn how to debate first of all. And second, let's go to the point. Let me just give you a brief overline of the affirmative case. The affirmative case comes and tell us that the government, the companies are not at fault. It's the government who should work because the government will work together. And then also come and tell us that if the companies compensate themselves, that means that it will save money from the government sectors. But let me give you a statistics. According to Microtin, 0.05% of 300 meters squared of mansion falls will be used in oil and gas activities, which means if they come and compensate for all those losses which are being done, that means they will ask for more and they will exploit our resources. Is this what we want? Do we want a foreign company to come and exploit Uganda? Or let's take our parameter, which was East Africa. Do you want it to come and exploit East Africa? Second, we come and told them, let's come back to our case. Their case is basically rejected. So let's come back to our case. As the team negators, we can't reject it, please. As the team negators, we come and tell you that the government and the companies will work hand in hand because the government at first invited these foreign investors because they didn't have the resources to work. But if we see the long run of this, the future of oil and gas industry, in the long run, East Africa will gain more than the foreign companies, right? So that means we can afford our expertise and we can do our research. But by the way, the government, the private sectors already have them. So if government and the private sectors work hand in hand, it will not burden the government, it will not burden the private companies, and things can go smooth. And that's a perfect solution because our solution is collaborative approach, which I've already told you means working of government and these companies together to fight a problem. That's how we can get rid of problems. Accepted.
According, if you understand, the second speaker said that you're going to collaborate with the people. Is that being so?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The second speaker said collaborating with the people in the society, in the community. Is that being so?
No, that's what we're saying. We are not being sold because we are negating. We are not being sold. We are working. We use a collaborative approach. You should listen well. Now let's come to our case. So basically, if we follow our approach, first of all, why are we doing it? What are the reasons? First of all, the companies here come to make profit, which means they don't care about any disasters done by them. They have the money to compensate it, and that's how it will continue. We will end up wasting everything we have just because we want the companies to compensate it. Second, like the way I say, they prioritize profit more than the environment and protection of East Africa. So that means the private sectors won't do their well when it comes to this. And third, the response effect may be delayed. The response effects may be delayed because it does not bother them whatever is happening in this region. They want their money and then they want to invest in their foreign countries because the biggest oil company in East Africa, as the NOC, is Total, which gains the 62% of the investments. So right, these companies don't care whatever is happening here. Whatever they care is about their profits. But us, as the East Africans, we have a government which we can rely on, who can work for us and who can solve this problem hand in hand with them. Second, Uganda. They came and told us of natural sectors. I would like to inform them that there is a Ugandan oil spill contingency plan which was given in March 2022, 29th of March 2022, which means Ugandans believe that there is natural disasters and the government is working on them. The government is working on that, but that's where the part comes from. That's why we have to work collaboratively because the government is doing its part. All right, I rest my case. Thank you.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.